What's going on, UFC fans? I'm Nikos Clementos. I wanted to start using my YouTube channel now while I begin the process of setting up my official podcast. Today, I wanted to give you my predictions for UFC 217, which is this Saturday at Madison Square Garden. All right, let's jump right to the main card. First fight on the card is Johnny Hendricks versus Paulo B. I'm going to call him that because I don't want to butcher his last name. He's a knockout artist from Brazil. I think he's 10-0 right now. I think he's only had 2 fights in the UFC. My prediction for Johnny Hendricks and Paulo is that Paulo will finish Johnny Hendricks within 2 rounds by first or second round TKO/KO. The next fight on the main card is Stephen Thompson versus Jorge Masvidal. I'm going to go with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, most likely by decision. Jorge is hard to finish if you look at his past fights. I think he's only been knocked out or TKO'd once. I think after the last 2 fights against Woodley, Stephen Thompson wants to prove something to the fans, especially with the last one being considered one of the most boring welterweight championship fights of all time or in the UFC. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished Masvidal, maybe later around TKO, but in the end, I really do think he'll get a decision victory. Next up is the first title fight of the night. Joanna, we'll call her Joanna champion, and we got Rose, Thug Rose Namajunas. This one doesn't seem too hard to predict. I'm sure most people who watch UFC and know both of these fighters, they're assuming the outcome, Joanna by decision. I mean, there's a possibility of something crazy happening, but I just don't see Rose doing it. So I'm going to say Joanna champion and still unanimous decision. Now on to my favorite fight on the card, which I know a lot of people are calling this the people's main event. Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw for the bantamweight title. This one is the 50-50, the toss-up, the one that no one wants to try and predict. If I had to pick what I think is going to happen, I think TJ Dillashaw has more skills, definitely more tools in the shed, but I think Cody's going to get the knockout at some point in the fight. I just think Cody has that power to end a fight at any time, and I think he'll do it. So this is the main event for the UFC middleweight championship. George St. Pierre is coming up 1 weight class from 170 to 185 to challenge for the belt. I think this is another one where, anything could happen, but I don't know, my gut's telling me that Michael Bisping is going to be able to finish GSP. Michael Bisping is much bigger. He's better on the feet. He's a hard guy to take down and keep down, especially with the 4-year layoff. I don't know, I just think Michael Bisping will get it done. It's possible it can go to decision, but I feel like Michael Bisping will finish him somehow. So I'm going to say Michael Bisping by TKO, possible decision, but definitely Michael Bisping retaining the middleweight championship.